I've been keeping up to date with your Facebook and Twitter the last couple of days, and you've been quite excited about checking out the new Batman, Bruce Wayne's mansion. You went there today. How was it?
It was awesome because it's Walton Hall in Nottingham, and it's Wayne Manor for the next Batman film, because obviously it burnt down in the first film, and then they didn't really mention it much in the second one. He was working out of a warehouse, so visiting that was awesome. Especially before the film comes out as well, because I'm a huge comic book nerd and I love Batman. Hence why the show's called The Joker as well. And yeah, we accidentally broke into a wrong part of it, because we were walking down and we couldn't work out how to get to the actual thing, and there was this sort of moat which didn't have any water in it, and we saw people walking their dogs up, and we went, oh right, we couldn't find a path, so we just climbed over the wall, and then went, obviously, because this is a path, the front door's there, and then all the gardeners were giving us sort of really weird looks and stuff, and then we go around the back and we realised we were at the back of it, like in the massive greenhouse bit, and people were coming up going, why are you here? And we were like, we don't know, where does Batman live? And they were like, it's round there. It's like, oh, okay, sorry.
So obviously this is your third tour, isn't it? Called The Joker. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's my first proper massive UK tour. The one we did before was just 8 dates in fact earlier this year and some last year, and it was great fun, but this one is like properly 2 months, 50 dates across the UK, and we're loving it so far. It's get to stay in every single Holiday Express, every single Premier Inn, and every single Travelodge in every town, and just it's been good fun so far. Like, yeah.
Now, was it in your comedy you sort of refer to your family quite a lot? How do you go about like telling your parents that you're going to do it? Do you tell them you're going to make jokes about them, or is it?
They kind of work it out. I mean, ever since I've started, they've always been such a sort of big influence on me. I would never go up to comedy if it weren't for my parents. And they take it well. My dad loves stand up, and like he's more than willing to come up with like stupid stuff that he does, and it's like, oh, tell people I do that. And it's like, you just don't make this all about you. But no, they enjoy it, and they know it's exaggerations. Like my brothers come to see me do comedy every now and again. They're 8 and 11, I think, and they don't really get the same way that when I watched comedy when I was that age. They don't really get the jokes. They just love swear words. And my brothers always complain, because I have this joke that I do, which is, I've got 2 younger brothers. One of them's a 7-year-old, and the other one's a dick. And every time I do that joke, the youngest brother goes, I'm 8. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I just called your brother a dick. Be happy that you didn't get the same abuse. And so yeah, everyone in my family doesn't really sort of mind. They just find it a bit surreal and weird.
So have your family always been very supportive then of your choice to go down the comedic route? Because you must have been very young when you first started out.
Yeah, no, my mum and dad were sort of like, I told them what to do, and they were like, yeah, go ahead, but you still need to get into university. So they were happy driving me, up and down the country, doing open spots here and there, because I couldn't drive at the time, just as long as the promise was that I'd get into university. And then I did get into university, and then I did, during the 2008 Edinburgh Festival, I think it was, I got to the final of a competition called So You Think You're Funny, and I met my agent, and it was my mum that just went, take a gap here, don't bother going to uni, really go for comedy, grab it by the neck, see what happens, and then never really had to go back to university. So it was her that sort of pushed me to take it that step further, which was a pleasant surprise.
It's all paid off, I suppose, as well. I mean, you've been on every TV show, I guess, that you'd associate with comedians appearing on.
Yeah, so. I've still got something I'd love to sort of appear on, but yeah, it's gone a lot better than I ever expected. I think if you were to tell me 4 years ago that I'd be where I am now, I'd probably ask for some whatever you were smoking, because it was like it's gone insanely well, a lot better than I expected. I'm genuinely grateful. It's my one vow I made to myself when I started, which is I would never complain about stand-up comedy, just because it's such a ridiculously awesome job that I wouldn't feel right. I mean, I'll complain about places that I'm in or sort of how I'm feeling, but I'll never complain about sort of where it's taken me, just because it's so good.
You must have got some really influential people as well in the comedic route. I mean, was it Franky Boy you wrote for when you were 16 years old for Mock the Week, was it?
Yeah. In a way, yeah. I wrote a few jokes for him for Mock the Week, just because I sort of had a work experience with him, just because I wanted to do comedy, and I sort of got in touch with him and asked him if he could give me advice, and he was kind enough to sort of invite me to his show during the Edinburgh Festival, meet with me afterward, and sort of talk and keep in touch and stuff, and then sort of as a writing task, he sort of, to help me write to deadlines and about specific stuff, let me write a few bits for Mock the Week things, and then he used one or two of them, which was lovely, but never was I ever a valuable asset to him. I doubt there was any point in his life where he was saying, "Oh, no, I haven't got Daniel Sloss's email through, I can't do the show." No. I think he was humouring me in the nicest possible way, and it gave me so much confidence to go on. Yeah, I do owe him like half my career. So,
who else would you like to work with, say, in a comedic sort of world?
In the world, I would absolutely murder. I would physically kill someone to get to work with Judd Apatow, who obviously 4-year-old virgin, super bad, and. Funny people, and lots of people who aren't involved in stand-up, just the public, really don't like funny people as a film. But as a comedian, I adored it. I just thought it was so brilliant and dark. And I think the thing is, if you're a comedian, you know everyone in that film, or you know someone exactly like them. You're like, you're fucking him. You're a dick. I know that guy. And I properly related, and I loved it. And I do think Judd Apatow's a genius. So any sort of work with him would be amazing. And Paul Rudd as well, I just find hilarious, and Jason Segel. That's more in the sort of acting roots. But I mean, I've been lucky enough to share the bill with like Stuart Lee and Ed Byrne. I got to support Steve Merchant on some of his dates earlier this year, and so it's been insane, and sort of real comedians that I sort of look up to and everything. It's been awesome.
Obviously, you are an established comedian yourself now, having done everything you have. But have you ever felt restricted by your age? Because you are so young. You're still 21, I think, aren't you?
Not so much. I mean, I don't really sort of talk about it much anymore. When I started, I used to talk about it all the time because comedy is about what you know. But then I quickly noticed that sort of people were sort of going, "Oh, all he does is jokes about being young," and it's like, well, hold on a second. You don't complain when a female comic does jokes about being female, a fat comic does jokes about being fat, a married comic does jokes about being married, or a black comic does jokes about being black. But the second I do jokes about being young, apparently that's hack. And you're like, well, that makes no sense logically. So I sort of steered away from it, and I don't mention it that much anymore. I'm just sort of more about my family and stuff. But it was really a blessing because audiences weren't expecting me to be funny when they saw me walk on stage. And then when you surprised them, they laughed harder than they probably would have normally, which was awesome. And it was sort of a new area for jokes as well that sort of never really been covered as well. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Do you think you ever go back to acting? Because that's where you started out as well, wasn't it? On BBC Three, you had your own show as well.
Yeah, well, I started out acting at the age of 8. Just my parents wanted to get me out of the house, so I did my local theatre. I did loads of stuff there, and I did The Adventures of Daniel for BBC Three. But the stand-up's where my heart lies. Hopefully, my vow to myself is I'll do stand-up for the rest of my life. If acting jobs come up, like I enjoyed doing The Adventures of Daniel a lot more than I sort of expected. It really sort of made me miss acting. But I'm not a superb actor. Like in that, I was playing myself, which is fairly easy. Just become a massive dickhead. That's how you play me. But then, no, I think any sort of other roles that I enjoyed doing, I'd happily play. But I'm not one of these people that all these people go, I want to challenge myself with a role. I don't want to challenge myself. That if I challenge myself, I'll be shit. I want an easy, nice role that I can sort of go into. Just that sort of maybe either I can play the sort of shy characters or maybe the slightly arrogant characters. If it would have to be a comedy sort of thing. I wouldn't necessarily like to go into serious roles just yet. Maybe in the future, but for now, I'm sticking to comedy. Hi, I'm Daniel Sloss, and it'd be fucking awesome if you could go and check out the Student Pocket Guide. Perfect. Is that good?
Cheers, man. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel.